Hey loves, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to my channel, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you're not new but are not getting the notifications, please make sure you click the bell in the top right hand corner. And now for today's video. So today I wanted to tackle a topic that someone messaged me on Instagram, a problem that they're having, and they really wanted some advice and some insight. And I really thought it might be relevant to a lot of people, if not now, in your life at some point. And that topic is brokenness and dealing with brokenness, how to deal. Most of you guys know probably by now. If you don't, I have a mobile app called Curly Christians. It is dedicated to inspiring you guys on your natural hair and your faith walks. And under the faith section of my app, I have devotionals, which are just really helpful. I send out a devotion every morning, and one of the sections is called How to Deal, and it's where I kind of talk about just different troubles we might have in life and how to deal with them. And this is one of the things that I address, but I thought it was so pertinent and would really be able to bless a lot of you guys, so I wanted to go ahead and bring it to my channel. And so let's jump into some things that I feel are helpful or could be very helpful, have been helpful to me in my personal life when I was dealing with brokenness. So when we talk about brokenness in general, we could be talking about different things, right? We could be talking about broken relationships. We could be talking about loss. There's so many different ways that we can feel broken. And so I want to try to provide some tips that are blanket and can kind of cover any type of brokenness. My first tip for dealing with brokenness is the most important, and that is do not run from God. Do not run from God. And so many people have a tendency to do this, probably because they're angry, they're upset, they feel like they've been betrayed. And so the automatic response is to just turn your back on God, say that he's not real or he's not there, he doesn't care about you, or all of this stuff. And that is the last thing that you want to do. That is going to set you on a course of never healing. And you have got to heal through your brokenness. And you're not going to do that apart from God. Okay? You might be able to seem like you're getting past it, but really all you're doing is storing it in the back of your mind, in the back of your heart, and it is going to produce bitterness, and that is the fruit that is going to come out, and you do not want that life. So the number one tip is do not turn your back on God. Turn towards him. Even in your anger, even in the feelings that you might have towards him, you still want to get closer to him, get deeper in the word. The word is where you will find understanding or revelation for your situation, okay? Tip number 2. Don't get caught up in people. So if the brokenness that you're dealing with is having to deal with a person having hurt you, a lot of the times we have the tendency to get caught up in that person and the fact that that person did you wrong, and you want to either get revenge or your mind just starts going all over the place. Don't get caught up in the person, okay? Because it is not people that are doing us wrong. Ultimately, you have to remember that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We wrestle with the principalities and powers and the rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. It is the devil manipulating people to hurt you, right? The devil wants to attack you. He uses the people close to you, and people are manipulated by the enemy to do things that will hurt you. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily, innocent. They've allowed themselves to be manipulated, but it's not them, okay? It's not them. So don't get caught up in the people and trying to get revenge and just being so upset with the person. You have to open up your heart to forgiveness, which is a whole nother topic. But tip 2, try not to get so caught up in the people. This is a spiritual battle. It's not an earthly battle. It might feel like one, but it's not. You will win in the spiritual realm before you win in the natural. Tip number 3 sounds like it should be towards the end of my list, but it's not, and for a reason. And this tip is know that it's not the end. No matter what type of brokenness you're going through, whether it's a loss, a broken relationship, depression, you've got to know that this is not the end of your life. This is not the end. No matter how broken you may feel, God can use your brokenness to turn your life around. I just did a video, you guys, on my 5-year come up and how God used my broken time to completely transform my life over the next 5 years. Okay, so just because you're in a broken state right now does not mean that you're gonna stay there. Okay, it does not mean that God doesn't have greatness for you ahead. So you have got to keep in your mind the fact that this is not the end. Yes, I'm in this, it sucks, it's horrible, but this is not the end of my life. It's not the end. Number 4 is taking note. I highly recommend to keep a journal. Track your feelings over this difficult time from day to day or from week to week, however you want to do it. But it really helps in you looking back and seeing your growth and seeing your progress. I was big on journaling when I was broken, and even when I wasn't broken. It just really helped to put my thoughts and my feelings on paper. You're not keeping them in, especially if you don't feel like you have a lot of people that you can talk to. Journaling also is a really big help. And my last tip, you guys, is to keep positivity in your ear. This is the time when you are broken that you want to surround yourself with positivity, with people who are going to uplift you, content that is going to uplift you, right? So you want to be listening to positive things. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing, right? So you need to hear the positivity, whether it's somebody uplifting you, whether it's music that uplifts you, whether it's, listening to the word of God. You have to keep positivity in your ear. And let me just remind you that the closest mouth to your ear is your own. So despite your brokenness, you have to be very careful with your words because you hear them immediately and you're feeding yourself that negativity. So be very careful about what comes out of your mouth. You want to feed yourself positivity. You might want to consider writing down some affirmations, putting them in front of you in places where you have to see them. I have lots of great confessions on the Curly Christians app. It's just a great place to go to continue to recite the word of God so that it gets on the inside of you. It gets on the inside of you because that is what's going to change your heart. And once your heart changes, right, out of the heart, the mouth speaks. Okay, so that's what's gonna make the difference. Dealing with brokenness is hard, you guys, and I know that. I've been through it, we've all been through it, and we'll go through it again because it's just a part of life. And so knowing how to deal is really, really important. I highly encourage you, download the Curly Christians app. There is tons of great content and how to deal and building up your faith when you're chasing your vision. What other sections do I have in there? Building up your trust, dealing with relationships. I try to cover some of everything in the app that is pertinent to our lives because this is real life and it gets tough. And I just want to provide some insight, some godly insight, some biblical insight that will help us. So definitely download the app if you haven't downloaded it already. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any additional tips or something that you've done to help get you through your period or season of brokenness, put it in the comments. Let's learn from each other. Let's encourage each other. And that is it for now, you guys. Until next time. Mwah.